Let us look at one more case study, and this case study is around a non-resident sports person. So David, a foreign national and a cricketer, came to India as a member of Australian cricket team in the year ended 31st March 2019. He received 5 lakh for participation in matches in India. He also received 1 lakh for an advertisement of a product on TV. He contributed articles in a newspaper for which he received 10,000. When he stayed in India, he also won a prize of Rs 10,000 from horse racing in Mumbai. He has no other income in India during the year. Now, in this particular case, because the recipient is a non-resident sports person, in these cases, there's a special section which deals with the taxation. The sports person category covers a particular set of people and not necessarily everyone, but a cricketer would be covered as a sports person within that section. So before actually going to the details as to how these income will be taxed, let us first look at what that section says. So basically under that section, which is 115BBA, it says that the following income of a non-resident sportsman, including an athlete, and like I said, a cricketer is covered as a sports person or a sportsman or an athlete, and therefore they will be entitled to take the benefit of this section. Who is a foreign citizen are taxable at 20%. So the tax rate on income derived by a sportsman is 20%, but it does not carry or it does not apply to each and every receipt that they have. It is only the following specific income which are liable to tax at 20%. For other income, if they have any, that is going to be liable to tax at the specified rate applicable to those incomes. So income from participation in India in any game. So if you are participating in any game in India, including cricket, other than winnings from crossword puzzles, races, including horse races, etc., under section 115BB, this is taxable at 30%. Or sport. So either you're participating in a game or you're participating in a sport. Income from advertisement. So you see all these advertisement of IPL where there are various foreign players who are actually advertising for IPL or for various brands when IPL takes place in India. The money that they get for advertisement, for appearing in those advertisements, is something which is going to get taxable under this section. Income from contribution of articles relating to any game or sport in India in newspapers, magazines or journals. So if you get any of these three income, it is liable to tax at 20%. Now let's go back to the question and see what is the taxability of David. So he got 5 lakh for participation for matches in India. So participation fees of 5 lakh will be taxable at 20%. He also received 1 lakh for advertisement. Even this is going to be taxable at 20%. He contributed article in a newspaper for which he received 10,000. So 0.10. I'm assuming that these figures are in lakh. So therefore 10,000 is equal to 0.1 lakh. So I've added it here. He also won a prize of Rs 10,000 from horse racing. Now horse racing is something which is not covered under section 115BBA, and therefore this is going to be taxable at 30%. So what is taxable under this section is 6.10 lakh or 610,000. 10,000 is going to be taxable at 30%. So let's say 10,000 taxable at 30%, the tax will be 3,000. On 610,000, tax at 20% will be how much? It will be equal to 610,000 divided by 5, right? So if you actually look at it, the tax will be 1,22,000. So the total tax will be 1,22,000 plus 3,000 or 1,25,000. If you add cess at 4% to this, it will be 5,000, and the total tax liability of David will be 1,30,000. Now let's see what else the question asks us. Are the incomes specified above subject to deduction of tax at source? Yes, these income are liable to deduction of tax at source, and the relevant section under which these are liable to tax at source is section 194E. So under 194E, The income which are covered under 115BBA will be liable to TDS at 20%. For horse races, the TDS will be deducted under 194BB at 30%. So, therefore, the total income of 6,10,000 will be taxable at 20% and 10,000 will be taxable at 30%. Plus a cess of 4% will be applicable because in case of non-resident, even that needs to be added, and therefore the total TDS will be equal to the total amount of tax payable by David. Is he liable to file his income tax return for assessment year 1920? Yes, he is liable to file his income tax return. Although there are certain exemptions which have been given from the Finance Act 2020 onwards, but those are not which are applicable to your case. So for assessment year 1920, yes, he is liable to file his return of income. What would have been his tax liability had he been a match referee instead of a cricketer? Now, the thing is that the tax liability for a match referee will not be governed by this section. And the reason for that is that a match referee is not a sportsman or a sports person or an athlete. Therefore, a match referee will be liable to tax on the basis of normal provisions under the Income Tax Act. Now, if I go back to that, as to how the calculation will be done, it will be 30% on 115BB because this is the flat rate of tax. It will apply as it is. On the balance 6,10,000, you will calculate the tax payable by David, which comes to 34,500 after taking the consideration the slab rates and etc. This is something easy, so I'm not getting into the details. You can calculate at your end. The total tax will be 37,500. 4% cess is another 1,500, and the total tax liability will be 39,000. Now, the reason why we said that if David is a match referee, he will not be covered as a sports person is based on a ruling which has been given by the Calcutta High Court in the case of Indcom versus CIT. They held that payment made to the umpires or match referees do not come within the purview of section 115BBA because they are neither sportsmen nor they are non-resident sports association or institution which will attract the provision of 115BBA and therefore not liable to reduction of TDS under section 194. I hope this part is clear to you. We will now move on to the next case study.